Hello everyone and welcome back. We're here for the back nine of the opening round at the Merry Sunshine House Classic, taking place over at the Oconee National Disc Golf Club, the Blue Course. What a great crew we have for you guys here today. We've been watching just how challenged they are on this very difficult track. I'd like to say the back nine gets way easier, but that's just not the case. We do have a couple more par threes. However, the challenge still exists, and we're heading into the back, and we're taking a look at hole number 10. Just 561 feet, a par 4. Of course, we're going to head up and down some various terrain. This one bending ultimately from right to left, and then quite a few scattered trees protecting the basket at the very end.
Right like that? You kind of want to flex it.
And you heard Cale asking for the tips there. Evan says you kind of want to flex it, and Cale thought he was past that guardian tree. If you haven't noticed, this is one of the wider tee shots and fairways that have been given to the players so far. Double G putting a little extra on it. Great shot for Gavin. Cale just trying to fight up the fairway and look for position. Here's Gavin with his second. And somehow filters through everything. Evan sets himself up with a lane there. Maybe even be able to give it a long look. Double G will possibly have a lane. As I said, as during the flyover, a lot of scattered trees that guard this basket, and either you're in the perfect spot and you have a lane to it, or well, you're trying to somehow maneuver and shape a shot that gets through all of them, and Cale unsuccessful there. Double G just pitching up, looking to collect the par. Evan just one birdie in the front nine, and it was on hole number 1. Cale at this point without a birdie, and Gavin doubles his birdie count. Picked one up on hole number 2, and now picking up just his second birdie of the round here on 10. Pars for both Double G along with Evan. And Cale will step up, and he'll be picking up a bogey. So through 10 holes, Leiviska struggling, although playing the course blind, as we head over to hole number 11. Just 444 feet, but you go through the tunnel, or do you? That's the question. And you actually see this tree here, this stump. Well, since the drone preview, they've decided to saw off that stump and put the basket right on the top of it. So Gavin pulls it right, trying to punch through the gap. This has the gentle bend from left to right. And that one surprised me.
Nice rip. I have no idea.
He says, I have no idea. This now doesn't surprise me as much. After watching Evan go with the forehand attempt to get up and over, but Double G doesn't have enough height on it. So he gets hung up on the right side. And we'll see what kind of look he's going to have, if one at all. Cale, no surprise, is going to pipe it right up the middle. I believe that's just a putter from Leiviska. Double G actually has some space here. But like his drive, gets caught up on one of the higher trees. And that's going to be out of position. I'm not sure he's going to even have a look to save the par. And how in the world Gavin got here, none of us understand. If you go back and watch that drive again, you'd have no idea how Gavin got to where he did. But he's set up for the par, and Leiviska is as well. Nice controlled shot that comes from Evan. That's Double G pitching out, so no look to the pin in terms of actually being able to convert. So Gavin is in for the par, and he's going to have to be happy with that one. Couple of additional pars coming from Leiviska along with Evan, and Double G is going to move from even to 1 over as we head into hole number 12, shortest hole on the course, just 285 feet. Just because it has short doesn't mean it's not dangerous. Plays slightly downhill. And then just beyond this rock where it sits, a drop-off of at least 10 to 15 feet directly behind the pin. We'll see how aggressive Gavin wants to get with that. I'm not thinking he's quite close enough to give it a bid. Evan knew out of his hand that was headed right to the tree that he needed to beat. Nice low line drive coming from Cale. Gonna put, yes, puts on the brakes. Park job for Leiviska. That would be his first birdie of the round. Double G likes the line. And he's gonna love the result. Park job for Double G. Great bounce back after the bogey on the 11th.
I was looking, nice. I was looking at the rock when yours was going.
Gavin doesn't want any part of it. He's just going to lay it up. Double G in for the birdie. Gets back to even par.
One in a row. Yeah.
Cale with his first birdie of the round. Sitting at 4 over. We'll see if he can get something going, as now we're heading into our final par 5 of the round. Hole number 13, 925 feet. We're just going to sit back and go for a ride here. As you can see, somehow going up, climbing continuously. And here we're going to, this time, just stop at the FPO pin. We still have another 150 feet or so to go past that FPO pin you just saw.
You just hit that tree.
Cale was talking about the one tree that he would aim for, and then sure enough, he hits it. Nice low line drive that works out pretty well for Gavin.
Holy cow. Nice. Yep.
So hole 7 at 1,227 feet, played as the most difficult hole on the course. Hole 13 here is playing as the second most difficult hole on the course. Double G not able to find the line, so caught up on that right side. And that filters over to the right. One of the times he could have used a tree kick to keep him pushing left. And all the way up and over. Huge shot by Evan. Sometimes you just got to take what it gives you. And after that shot, Cale looked at me, kind of shrugged his shoulders, and was like, okay, it felt good. I'm not sure that Double G could have thrown a much better shot than what he just did there. Just being able to hit the line, get the right amount of turnover. Carry of another 40 feet sure would have been great, but with the footwork and everything else that was required, I just really have to applaud the shot as Cale trying to get this to gently turn. And he's going to find himself inside the circle.
Dunk it. Oh, buddy.
Gavin's fourth gives him a look from inside the circle. Double G off the top band. And although this hole is playing, as I was just saying, as the second most difficult hole on the course, it seems like our card has it somewhat figured out. That's going to be a par for Leiviska. Gavin follows up his par after we see one from Evan as well. And Double G will tap in for the bogey, but to watch this card play at 1 over, I would have to think is one of the best that we've saw of any cards out on the course. For them just to go 1 over. There were exactly 0 birdies given up on hole number 13 as we look at 14 that has a very unique tee shot. that eventually climbs uphill as you try and get to the pin, and it just gets more and more narrow in terms of the corridor to the fairway. And after some serious contemplation, Cale goes with the high route. And
just the worst spot ever.
Gavin doesn't like the spot. I'm not sure he was going exactly for that line either, but it was clean. This appears to be the most traditional route. However, it gets caught up. And then Double G going way unorthodox. And that's not going to pay off at all.
Come on, dude.
Great shot by Gavin. That's going to give him a look directly to the pin down the corridor. And that one's low and overturned by Evan, so at best looking at a par. Cale finds one vine just hanging down. And it looks like it's going to alter his possibility, or excuse me, alter at least what he would like to do. Just trying to go for the Y tree directly in front of him.
Oh my god. Terry, you saw that.
Yes, I did see that, Cale.
Rate that shot for us, Cale. Oh my god. I hit my hand a little bit. It's still 10 out of 10.
All these years, one of the top professionals to ever play the game, and still out here impressing himself as Double G has his approach now. Let's see if Evan can get up and down. Double G's fourth.
Sick, G. Well done, dude. Yeah. Cool. Unreal.
The card loves it. Could see a little bit of aggression maybe coming here from Gavin. He's got an uphill climb, so that at least gives him a backstop. And similarly, Cale can give it a bid. Not going to be online, but a tap-in par is great here on the 14th. You look at how hole 14 played on the more difficult side. In fact, fourth most difficult hole on the course. So you're playing 11, 13, and 14 as you head into the back nine, 3 of the 5 toughest holes on the entire course. What I would think many consider their favorite hole is the 15th. Just have to go down this very tight corridor. 360 requiring at most a 280-foot throw in terms of the power, but it's just all about hitting the line. Bring the back up here. There was a funny conversation taking place with Evan along with the rest of the group about mid-ranges. Evan said he's not a big fan of mid-ranges. Cale kind of just shook his head. There's a little bit of a difference of opinion, I guess is how I would say that. Evan relies more on his putters. It's a good forehand approach. That's going to give him a look to save the par. Probably no surprise to you to see that hole 15 averaged over par and played right in the middle of the field in terms of overall difficulty. Averaged 3.55 for our nearly 100 competitors here. But that's just in the middle when you compare it to all the rest of the holes out here. I expected to see more birdies on this one. Just 4 birdies in the entire field here on the 15th. A solid putt by Evan. He's able to get out of there with a par. Just inside the circle for Cale. A solid putt as well, so a couple of good par saves. After going deep, Gavin's got a look coming back. Water plays as casual.
Casual water, right? Okay.
Is this okay right here?
Oh yeah. First point. Is it okay?
Yeah, make sure.
Yeah, if it's casual, it's got to be like straight line with the basket, right? Yeah, just a hair left, and you're fine.
Like there?
Okay.
Yeah, you're
Sorry.
Good. Yeah,
No, you're good. That's why I was asking. I'm kind of close.
So Double G, again confirming with the group, and has no problem stepping up and collecting the par. But always good to ask your group, anytime you have some awkward footing or something that feels unusual, you just might as well ask beforehand rather than risk a situation where they have to possibly call you on an infraction after the fact. As we head to the 16th, just a couple more to close this out. I know you've been waiting for it. Finally, the easiest hole on the course. Hole number 16, 300 feet, slightly uphill. And Cale will put it just inside the circle. By a significant margin, this plays as the easiest hole on the course.
very nice.
Gavin's going to make it about as easy as it gets with a tap in from less than 5 feet. This averaged 2.56, so 0.44 under par. The next closest was 0.19 under par, so the easiest hole by twice the margin compared to, say, hole 6. And this is Double G's that's come rocketing in. So all 4 will have a look. Double G adds another birdie to the scorecard. That is Double G's 4th birdie. That's more than anyone else on the card. And Evan's going to be kicking himself. He hasn't birdied since hole number 1. He's had a couple of triple bogeys and a lot of pars since as Cale collects his par. Cale has just 1 birdie on the round. Not too often in that man's long career, could you say. Through 16 holes, he has just 1 birdie. But out here at Oconee, there's not a lot of opportunities. As we said earlier, sometimes the pars out here feel like birdies. we head to the 17th, which features a dog leg. You could play straight down, and then you play straight over. You guys saw this hole last year. However, some more things have opened up, and we're going to see some creativity. But first, we check in with one of the hot rounds, which is currently coming from Jake Mon. That's a long look for eagle. He went with the big Anheuser, crossed over the water, and then had that left for eagle. Of course, he'd go on to tap in for the birdie. And Jake Mon is going to finish at 1 over and has one of the hotter rounds going as that one pans out and doesn't keep the Anheuser line the entire way for Gavin. Double G's going big. Too big to follow. Okay, caught up. But still carried a long way. So that should give him a chance to at least get a birdie. Cale pulls this one too tight. And he's quite a ways back. Evan.
Oh yeah, Evan.
Come on.
Yeah, Evan.
Come on, baby.
Oh no.
Towards the hole.
Oh, it's a dying with the wind. No, it's way too far right.
Wow, it's going way past.
Never heard anything.
That's past the basket. 625 feet downhill. And as the crow flies, it's definitely doesn't play 625, that's for sure. But Evan has gone deep and right of the pin by about 80 feet. And that's Gavin trying to find his way to fight through. Cale's going to be looking to do the same from a different side of the fairway.
Oh my God. You cannot hit that gap and then hit that tree.
Hit.
Double G. Trying to get down to the island and take out our island boy, Tyler. How are the island boys doing? I think pretty good. We should check in on them. All right, Cale. And still get aggressive.
Bring it up.
He's going to go past. While we're here, like, share, subscribe. You want to see eagle bids like you're going to see here from Evan. Oh, what a run. That water is casual, so you have a short comeback look for the birdie. Double G looking for his 5th birdie, but doesn't get it to drop.
Nice effort.
Cale dealing again with a vine and trying to give himself a little more space there because he's going to go over the vine and then jam it home. But just slightly out of position, still playing pretty well for a guy who's never seen this course
Mine landed up there as well.
and is now rating as one of the most difficult courses we've ever seen.
If that, do I take it back? It's all moving when I put weight on it. Or
I think you're fine.
I'll just.
So from an eagle bid to a tap-in birdie,
Brought a little bit of mud.
Evan picks up his 2nd birdie of the round to get to 4 over.
I don't know. I'm just gonna slide if I actually put any weight on it.
And we have just 1 hole left to play. So as we're almost through the first round, let me know in the comments if this is a course that you're going to come out and challenge anytime soon, as you're seeing some of the best in the world. Currently, not a single player in the entire field is under par. And Double G will have a chance to get back to even par. He's going to need a birdie on the 18th, though. First, Evan, coming off his second birdie of the round. Gavin, late turn, filters. All right, he's going to be at the bottom of the wall. Gavin's had the best back nine of any of our competitors here.
Sit. Grab. Okay. Sideways, but.
Cale has been limited to just one birdie so far, and he's going to be near Gavin, hunting his second. There, you heard why he was saying no. He thought he's connecting with that tree instead of a 15-footer for his par. Double G's effort is low, but it stays up. Straight uphill for Rathbun. Count it. Great birdie finish. He gets 2 out of the last 3 and 3 under in the back 9, which is going to be the hottest back 9 of all competitors. Almost an identical look here for Cale. And it's just short. So Leiviska is going to end the day with 1 birdie for his entire round. Somebody get Stat Mando on the phone, because I can't imagine that's happened too often in his career. And our highest rated player, Evan, going to finish with a par on the final hole. As Cale taps in for his par. So, big thanks to everyone for coming along for the ride. We're going to continue to bring you rounds 2 and 3. Love all the action taking place out here. Visit OconeeSC.com. We'll catch you guys tomorrow for round 2 at the Merry Sunshine House Classic.